Perfect. Okay. Thank you, everybody, for... Oh, let me do one thing, though, before we start. All right. Thank you, everybody, for being on time. Yeah, I'm going to sound a little different. It's going to be echoey versus what you're used to. And it's because I'm actually filming this live in front of another group of people. And I have the microphone turned on so that everybody can hear, not just you guys. So let me stop that. Now, today's session is going to be on smartphone tricks. Now, I don't care if you have an Android. I don't care if you have an iPhone. These tricks that I'm about to share with you is to show you the possibility of how smart your phone actually is. And I want you to walk away from today's session knowing that you have a couple things that you didn't realize were already in your pocket. So it's going to be like a David Letterman style, his top 10, only I want to do the Danny Wood top 30. So, top 15. And I want to go through, it's in no particular order. So just because this is my number one, doesn't mean it's the best idea. It's just the first thing I'm telling you. So the number one thing so far is keyboard shortcuts. So are you sick of typing the same thing over and over and over? Well, there's a thing on your phone called keyboard shortcuts. Now you're going to notice on my slide at the bottom, it has the logo of Google, and then it shows underscore and the word keyboard shortcuts. So if you like the idea of what I'm about to show you, what I want you to do is go to Google, type in the name of your phone, and then add keyboard shortcuts. And Google is going to show you step by step how to do what I'm about to show you. Okay? So this is an example of a keyboard shortcut. On the left, you can see where it says, thanks for saving me in your phone, Dan Wood, my phone number, and my email. Well, on the right, all I had to type was QWE. All I do is QWE. The reason why I do QWE is because I'm lazy, and on my keyboard, it's boom, boom, boom. Those just happen to be the letters that are right there. So it's a really, really easy way for you to type out, like a lot of times you have to share your information with the person. It's called keyboard shortcuts. So you go there. Here, I'll show you a couple other examples. So MYO stands for my office. And then I typed out, so if on my phone, I type out MYO, it will autocorrect, basically, and it will type this out. My office is located at 119 Wood Street, blah, 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 and I'm giving directions on how to get there, where to park. I didn't have to type it all out. I only had to do it the one time. So when I worked in Oshawa, I actually had an office in Whitby and Oshawa. So I had MWW for Whitby and MWO for Oshawa. So there's different ways that you can do that. Another example is my lead. So whenever I got internet lead and I'm talking to the people, when we hang up the phone, I would send them a text message. So, oh, hold on a second.
Are coming from a certain, we will craft it for that, what that means.
All right. You are muted. There we go. So whenever I get a lead, I would hang up that phone call, and all I had to do is type in MY lead, all one word, MY lead, and that would type out, thanks for registering, looking at real estate for sale here in Durham region. Let me know if I can ever help you. So say I call a person and they don't answer the phone, I want them to get a text message from me right away. So it's not automated. Some of you have these fancy CRMs that do it for you, but 90% of the people don't. So I just did it manually. If I called the person and they didn't answer the phone, I would just take the number that I called and I would send a text message to that same number. But instead of typing it out, I already typed it out using the keyboard shortcut. This one's mostly because whenever I have to register on a website, they want your name, your phone number, your email, and all that information. Well, on your phone, it will normally automatically type in your email, right? But sometimes it doesn't automatically type out my cell phone, and it just bothers me that I have to hit 7 and type out my phone number. It's just because I have to type out my phone number probably like 10 times a week on my phone for different reasons. Now I don't have to actually type it out. It's just a lot easier. VL stands for view listings. So the phrase on that says view listings without needing to register. So say a person fills in a form on my website and I already got all their contact information. A good example of this is you have a website that is locked down where the people have to create an account to look at listings, right? Well, if a person fills in your house value form, that didn't actually create an account for them. So they can contact you through your house value form, but if they want to look at listings, they still have to create another account. It's a nuisance. So whenever I got a house value lead, I already had their information. I don't want to double dip and make them do it again. So I would send them this text message that gave them a username and password without having to register again. Sharing contacts. So save a digital contact card so people can actually save you into your phone. So when I ended a phone call with a prospect, I would say, hey, Joey prospect, that was a great conversation. Is this your cell phone? Most of the people say, yeah. Then I'm like, okay, perfect. I'm going to text you my contact information to make it easy in case you see homes you want to look at, you got any questions, or I'm emailing you property and you see some that I didn't email you and you're wondering why. I just wanted to make it easy for you to reach me. Is that okay? And he or she will normally say, yeah. So what I did was I went to my phone, I went to contacts, and I added me as a contact. Dan Wood, my phone number. I actually added my fax because we used it apparently. And I added my 2 different office numbers, all my social media, my website. I even wrote up a little, whoops, let me go back. I even wrote up a little bio of who I am. And you'll notice that blue arrow at the bottom is pointing to share contact. Once you have that saved in your phone as a contact, I can click share contact. That's going to send them a card with one-click button save. Because if I just say, hey, save me in your phone, are they going to go to contacts, type in first name Danny, last name Wood, cell phone, spell my email wrong, not hit save? You know what I mean? So with this, it just makes it a lot easier for people to actually save you into their phone. Adding to home screen. I love this trick. So web pages don't take up any data and are always updated. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Here's my website, brokeragenation.com. So if I go to brokeragenation.com, you'll see there's an option on all phones to add to home screen. So if you Google search the name of your phone, add to home screen, it's going to tell you how to do this. But look, I just saved that website on my phone as an app. It's not taking up any memory and it's always updated. So like, there's a couple apps that I use once a month. Because I live and work on the road all the time, I always have to check my data and my usage. Well, I don't want to have to install a crappy app just to do that because they make me update it every like 2 weeks, right? Where all I had to do is save the web page on my phone. It's not taking, I don't need, like, doesn't it annoy you every 3 weeks you look at your phone, you're like, 50 apps I got to update? No wonder we need unlimited data. Like, this is crazy. So not all of your apps do you actually need on your phone. So now what I do is before I install the app, I'll go on my phone, go to their website, I'll log in and I'll see if it's mobile friendly, if I can do all the same functionalities. If I can, I don't install the app. I don't need it. The app is usually a pared down version that is very limited, but really easy to use. If I don't use that app all the time, I don't need it to be easy to use. I don't need 50 outdated apps on my phone at all times. So of all my tips, I'm sure that one right there is going to free up a ton of space on your phone. For a couple other examples would be maybe your MLS login. You could bookmark that, add to home screen. Your CRM and your database, for example. Online banking, I don't know how safe that is, so maybe don't do that one. Voice to text. If I wasn't sick, I'd be using that a lot more this week, but because I am sick, I'm not using it. But 80% of my messages are typed by voice and then edited by hand. It is such a nuisance for me to turn off all these videos. Just kidding. It is such a nuisance for me to have to type out so much. And I'm not complaining. I love communicating with people, but I have to do it so much. It's just way easier. There'll be a couple errors, but it's easy for me to just fix it. So if you Google search the name of your phone and voice to text, it is going to show you how you do that. And it's really easy on most devices. It's just a little picture of a microphone. You talk into it, and when you're done talking, boom, it typed out the message for you. The camera grid. Grids really help frame the shot. So if you Google search the name of your phone, camera grid, it's going to show you how to turn it on. So this is a picture. See the two blue lines? The one of them is pointing to the horizon of the shot, and the other one is pointing to the grid. Well, you just have to line them up. You don't have to make them overlapping each other. Just visibly look left to right. Does it look squared? And if it does, when you take your photo, it's not going to have those grids. It also works with the horizontal, vertical. So when you're taking pictures of rooms, you would just line up the grid with the window frame or the corner of the wall or something like that. Because it makes a huge difference when your photo is crooked just by 3 degrees. You can snap photos with your volume button, and it allows you to get a better grip. So here's a professional selfie taker, apparently, and see how her finger is on the back of the phone, like holding it, right? It makes it really hard for her to hit the button. You can just snap the photo with the volume button directly on your phone. All devices allow you to do that. So you don't actually have to hit that little round button to snap the photo. This is also good for when you're in like wet environments, like you're at Maid of the Mist in Niagara Falls or something. Not that you'd have your phone out, but anyways, sometimes it's not easy to press the screen, right? But you can easily just hit the volume button. Custom repeating a schedule. So say, for example, Nicole, say we meet on the 4th Tuesday of every month and you forget that, okay? Let's say that you have something that happens on a irregularity, so meaning not the same day and time every week. If you Google search the name of your phone and add custom repeating schedule, it's going to show you on an Android and on an iPhone how to do this. But look, I could say, okay, on the 4th Tuesday of every month we meet, and I will automatically block it into my phone. Otherwise, you have to go to every month and manually add it. It's a nuisance, so you don't do it and then you miss times. So that right there is a really cool trick, especially for mastermind meetings, office meetings, that sort of thing. Team meetings with teams for sure. Turning off notifications, so gain control of your life by leaving just the essentials turned on. So I elaborated earlier before I started recording that our device is always yelling at us. And like, I really don't like picking up my phone as much as possible. So the only notifications that I have on my phone is voice, text, leads, and email. Those are the only notifications on my phone. I don't get any other notification. On Facebook itself or Instagram, if you post a photo and tag me, I won't know until I go by my choice and open up the app. But I don't know, it's always like telling you need to open the app, and then you do, and it's like a short fix. Like it felt kind of good, but then you feel bad at the same time because you're not with your family. So I suggest you do that. You can also schedule DND, which means do not disturb. So it's like time blocking on steroids. So if you Google search the name of your phone and add the word schedule DND, it will show you, Google, how to do this on your iPhone and Android. And so you can say, okay, during dinner times, do not disturb. During my morning exercise, do not disturb. And it will just automatically do that for you, turn on and turn off without you having to do it. Prospecting time, so I'm a prospector. I call between 9 o'clock and 11 o'clock. Turn your phone on, do not disturb. I wouldn't have your phone on do not disturb all night. And the reason for that is because if there was an emergency and you missed it, that'd be really bad. But I do have do not disturb during short time frames, like an hour here, an hour there, usually during family time, dinners, or business building opportunity. Disabling background data. So many apps use battery and data even when you're not even using the app. How crazy is that? You guys confirm and agree to this. It's nuts. So if you Google search the name of your phone, iOS, Apple, of all the apps that are using data while you're not even using it. And if you do that exercise right now, you're going to be shocked. I haven't even used that app in like 3 months, is what you're going to say. And this whole time it's using memory and power and all this other stuff. So just flick them off. This is a good safety net, sharing location. So I do this particularly with my wife. I had to drive an hour and 20 minutes to get here to be with you guys live today. And so whenever I drive any distance, any significant distance, whenever I park my car, I always send her a map of where I was. And it's really easy. You just Google search the name of your phone, share map location. And here's an example. I'm in your parking lot right now, and I click the share my location, and then I text it to my wife. It's just a common courtesy, but you can do that. Say you're, say you're a single woman and you're meeting an internet lead for the first time at 8 o'clock in the evening in Scarborough, in a weird part of town or whatever. I would send either my team or my spouse the map of where I was. Okay, honey, I'm here. See you in half hour, whatever. And it instantly just drops a pin of exactly where you are on Earth. So if there was ever anything happening, so like when I'm traveling across North America, my family can't keep up with where I am. And say something happens, I get an accident. Well, at least they'll know where I dropped the last pin of where I was, and they have a general idea. They can contact those local authorities. That's a really good tip. It's called Share My Location. Now, I didn't want to turn this into an app session telling you to install a bunch of apps, but there are two that I'm going to suggest that you look at. Google Translate, really, really cool app. And it translates text, speech, and images in real time. So here's an example. On the left, see how it's got the phone, and on the phone it has the word exit. That's the English. And then on the wall behind it, I don't know what language that is, but they're French? Jeez. So they're translating French. And so anyways, in real time, you just have to hold your phone up, and it's like a virtual reality, and it actually translates it right on your phone. So I do it for menus. When I'm it's somewhere, I hold up the menu and I'm like, oh, okay, I know I don't want that. So, right? So it works really good. And it also works with voice. So I can like just talk and it will translate, and then the person reads it, and then they talk and it translate and I read it. So I did that, where did I do that? Somewhere. Cuba, I did it in Cuba, Jamaica, and somewhere else. And it just enabled me to have conversations with local people. Both for when I was doing public transportation to navigate around town, I could just hold the phone up. The only place it doesn't work is French Canada. Ironic that they had a French thing there. Okay, the other app that I want to share with you, and Apple has its own version and Android has its own version, but it's the Measure app. Take virtual measurements on the fly. So if you Google search the name of your phone, so iPhone Measure app or Android Measure app, they both have their version. These are the screenshots of what the icons look like. And see this desk, the blue line going from left to right? You can measure that on the fly. So I wouldn't use this for taking room measurements and broker loading your MLS and being like, oh, this is accurate, Google says so. No, but just for quick measurements, you're doing floor plan, you're doing measurements, a couch, whatever, you can do it. You don't have to carry around a big bulky tape measure. There's a thing called a one-handed keyboard on all of our phones, and it basically allows you to do two things at once. So here's a screenshot. On the left, on the top image is an iPhone. See how the keyboard is to the left? And on the lower photo, that's Android, the keyboard is over to the right. That's called one-handed keyboard. So while you're writing something out, I don't know how you can do two things at once, but some of us like to pretend. So if you did, you could some of you do like to just type with one hand for whatever reason. You can do that. You can do that with the one that does that. You do it?
I do one-handed, but I don't do the different keyboard. I just.
Oh yeah. Well, so Andrew has like big thumbs, so he can smear across the whole screen, so it's no problem for him. But for some of us, it's hard to reach, especially on the larger phones. So if you got like the 10x plus gigabyte jumbo wumbo, whatever's next on the market, it's going to be too large for you to reach the whole phone without hurting yourself. Okay, voice commands. Now, I didn't really open up this can of worms for years just because it was overwhelming for me of all the different things that I could tell my phone to do by voice. So I'm just going to do a laundry list and share as many of them that I can. And I'm hoping that a couple of them you're like, what? I can do that? That changes everything. Okay, so voice command. It works with Google, works with Siri. Device control. So you can turn on your Wi-Fi on and off instead of having to navigate to settings, general, and Wi-Fi and doing all this stuff. I could just literally hit my phone and say, turn on Wi-Fi, turn off Wi-Fi, just by my voice instead of having to navigate around. Same thing with Bluetooth. You don't always need Bluetooth on and running. Switching to airplane mode. So you won't be able to turn it back on once it's on airplane mode because it cut the internet and voice is used from the internet. But sometimes you need it to be on airplane mode, and it's easier just to do that. You can brighten and darken the display. So while I'm riding my bike, this is a bad example. So I don't do it for the display, but while I'm riding my bike, I do it with the volume. And I'm like, Siri, set the volume to 70% or whatever. And you can do it with Google too. Instead of me like mucking around, I'll try riding a bike and changing the settings. So raising and lowering volume, turning low power mode on, opening up the settings, take a pano shot. That's cool. A lot of people don't even know how to take a pano shot in their camera. So you can just tell your phone, take a pano shot, and it will open up the camera and be on pano mode automatically instead of all this like horsing around. You can open up any app by saying, open up Skype, open up whatever the name of the app is. Same with the websites, you can do that. I do a timer all the time. So I'm like, set a 45-minute timer. And during that 45 minutes, I don't do anything else but prospect. And once the timer goes off, I feel free and achieved. And so I do that all the time. I'm always setting a timer every day. Setting alarms also. Flipping a coin or rolling a dice. I just included that for fun. You can also do other more practical things like what time is it in? So for example, I have clients coast to coast. And so because I have a client on the far West Coast and I'm East Coast, I have to know what the time is. And I could go to a browser and type it all in, or I could just say it right on my phone. When is the sunset tonight? So if I want to make sure to go for a run before it gets dark. What's the weather like? Is it going to rain today? What's the score in the soccer game? So that's just gimmicky stuff. Okay, you can do calculations and conversions. So you can be like, what's $100 US and Canadian, and vice versa. And you can do any other measurements. Sometimes the room measurements are written in meters and you need it in feet, or vice versa, or something is written in inches and you want centimeters. You can just literally hold the button and you don't have to open up, go to Google and type it in like you're used to doing. You're trained to do it, so that's why you do it. So much easier just to hold the button and say it. Figuring out the percentage of a tip. That's a good one. Lists and stuff. So I could hold my phone and say, make a list called cottage. And then it will make a list called cottage. And then during that, throughout the day, I can add things to the list. Like, don't forget the shovel. I don't know why I said shovel. Don't forget the bike. Don't forget the stand-up paddleboard. I need the bacon and eggs and whatever. So you can add things to your list on the fly as well. It's a really easy way for you to make a list and not forget. Remind me to call. So say I get an internet lead. I call that person today. He didn't answer the phone, but the voicemail said, hey, it's Steve. Sorry you couldn't reach me. That's a good lead to me because the form is the same as the voicemail. So I'm going to tell the phone, I'm going to be like, hey, remind me to call Steve tomorrow at 3. And then tomorrow at 3, it just tells me, I'm like, oh yeah, I got to call that lead back. And it's just a gentle reminder for me not to drop things in the crack. Or say you're talking to somebody and they're away on holidays and they'll be back in 2 weeks. As soon as you hang up the phone, you don't even have to add it to your database. Just tell your phone, be like, hey, in 2 weeks, remind me to call Sarah because she's back from Cuba. And in 2 weeks, magically, it's just going to remind you. And be like, oh yeah, I would have forgot. Thanks, elephant. Wake me up at a specific time. You can even say, when is my next meeting without having to go and open up everything. It'll just tell you. You can set meetings with dates and times. I don't really trust that one because I'm afraid of screwing it up, so I still do it manually. What's on my calendar for such and such date? What day is it? November 29th. Well, 1, that's my birthday, so you should all know that. But 2, sometimes you have to know, like, is it a Monday? Is it a Tuesday? So you can just ask your phone without going to Google and or opening up the calendar. Like, you guys are taking 20 steps too many by not using your voice. That's all I'm trying to prove with all this stuff. When's Mother's Day? You can ask that sort of thing. Yeah, Good to go. Okay. Same one. Okay, photos and video. You want to take a photo? I can literally just say, take a photo, and it will open up my camera app. I think on some of the devices now, you can actually say, start recording, and it will instantly start recording your camera in case you're in like an emergency. And you don't have time to be horsing around. Like, say they legalized weed in Canada now. Did you guys hear? So say you're getting harassed by somebody, you could say like, start recording the camera if you needed something. Take a selfie, record video, take a slow-mo video. A lot of you don't even know how to do a slow-mo video on your phone, right? You're like, that'd be really cool in slow motion. So you could just say to your phone, take a slow-mo video, and then it just, boom, opens up in slow-mo mode, and you just hit record. You can even say filtering your photos. How many of you have thousands of photos in your camera roll? Okay, I do. And so I could say, show me my panoramic photos, and it will filter the 2000 down to the 30 panoramics. So you can filter stuff like that too. I could even say, show me photos of, and I don't know about this part, you can name a person and it will check their face and show you all the photos in your camera roll with their face. I don't know how that technology works, but it's a thing. The one I use is show me photos I took in. So when I was in Newfoundland, I took all these really amazing photos. So instead of like having to scroll for days, I'm like, show me my Newfoundland photos. And then it, boom, they're right there. Now I just got like 50 to scroll through instead of thousands. You can even say, show me photos that you took at a specific date, time, or place. And you can even scan a QR code. I'm just kidding. Nobody scans QR codes. Okay, so for music and entertainment, I do this one a lot. I'll be like, listen to my running playlist. So I don't like having to scroll to my app, open up the music app, go to the playlist, find the right playlist, hit play, and then hit shuffle. I can literally just tell my phone, play my running playlist and shuffle it, and it will do it for me. But you guys are taking like 30 steps to do all these things. So as an exercise going forward, try not to use your finger as much and try voice, just to see how freeing it is to not always be staring at your screen, clicking buttons. You can pause and play the next song. You can shuffle it. You can even say, play more like this. So say you have a large catalog of music. So mine's very diverse, and people would laugh because it's like hardcore hip hop and motivational speeches. It's like so weird. So anyways, so say I'm on to something. I'm like, I really feel this is my mood today. I could be like, play more of this. And then it's just going to filter out all the music that's similar for you. So say you're at an open house and you want background music at your open house. You could have ambient music. So you could be like, play ambient music. And it's just going to play your ambient music. Oh, this is a good one. What music is playing? So we've all heard of Shazam. And if you haven't, Shazam allows you it will listen and then tell you the name of the song that you're listening to. However, sometimes you got to scroll, you're fumbling, whatever. Maybe you're even driving, and I don't suggest you do this, but you're driving and you hear a good song on the radio, so you're like going to get in an accident over a stupid song, when you could just hit the button on your steering wheel and say, what music is playing? And it is going to listen and tell you the name of the song. It's still powered by Shazam, but you don't have to open up the app anymore. Yeah. You can play or download podcasts as well. So this is a big one. A lot of people still don't leverage podcasts, which is astonishing to me. So a podcast is people talking about a specific topic, and you can literally type in anything. So for me, if I typed in digital nomad, which is a person that lives remotely and works around the world, I could type that into podcasts, and it's going to come up with all these podcasts talking about that topic. Or you as a real estate agent, you could say just a keyword of like, what are you trying to work on? Your real estate listing presentation. Go to podcasts and do real estate listing presentation. And these people are going to be talking about what's in their listing presentation. And how
Listing agent lifestyle.
is that a podcast? Yeah. So that's an example. Any topic that you're into, it doesn't have to be real estate specific. It could be about quitting smoking. It could be about starting exercise. Podcasts are amazing. If you're not doing it, you should get on that bandwagon, and you can just tell your phone to do it. You can also do it for searching. So you could say, show me recipes. How do I make whatever? It's unlimited. Who, what, where, when of anything you can think of. I'd say the funnest one is what's the net worth of any celebrity. So what's the net worth of, and my wife does that. She's addicted. Okay, so did I share some examples of ways you can use your phone that you don't have to go out of your way and reinstall new stuff? You just weren't using those features? Yeah, cool. Did I miss any that you guys are like, Danny, this is such a big one. Do you have any, Andrew? Did I miss?
A lot.
Yeah.
I download every app. So Magic, I think I told you about this one the other day.
Ooh, yeah.
It's literally a personal assistant on your phone. So you can, like, for instance, I had the airport run the other day, and I was just like in and out pretty quick. So I just opened the app, typed in, hey, I need parking at like the quick lot at Pearson, and this is my flight time. They said, okay, 10 minutes later, here's the invoice, here's the receipt, it's been paid, go into this entrance here. They ended up getting the wrong lot, finding something else, and ended up finding a $27 savings in that time too. And like, it's literally another person on the other line.
So
it's like an actual human.
What's it work out per hour?
It's $35 an hour, but they bill you by the minute.
That's the key. So 35 an hour is kind of expensive, right? You're like, geez, 35 bucks an hour. But you're only paying per minute, and it only takes 15 minutes for them to do whatever it is. So that's really cool.
Yeah,
what's the name of it? I want to read
Magic. So if you go to like getmagic.com, I think it is, or you just go to the App Store, it's white with a little like black N. I use that one a bunch lately because, well, it's awesome. I'm also super lazy, so Skip the Dishes is a pretty high up one there for me. I don't do what you call cook. So yeah, Skip the Dishes is my cooking.
So for those of you on the webinar, I'm actually going to turn on my webcam. Hi, you can see me now, and then I won't show everybody except for Andrew is in the corner here.
Hello.
And then I'll do a quick pan. We got a room full of people. So just so you're not staring at a white screen, Andrew's the guy talking in the corner. Thank you.
I have 4,000 people.
Okay, so was there any tips from you guys what was your tip?
I was going to say, you mentioned that you might not want to have do not disturb on your phone because you might miss emergencies.
Yeah.
You can actually enable emergency bypass for certain contacts on your phone.
Ooh.
Also, you can set it so that if there is an emergency, you can tell people to call your phone twice. If you call one time and then call again immediately after, it'll bypass your do not disturb, so the call will go through.
That is awesome. Hopefully you guys could hear that, right? I'll just pretend.
There's another good one. They changed the name of it. I think now it's just called Shortcuts. But basically,
hold on one second. Okay, you guys on this end can't hear our private conversation. This is a paid group anyways, that's live. So I'm going to end this recording. Oh, that was awkward. So I'm going to end this recording. I want to say thank you for being with me. I want to get this posted on Monday evening, and then we do this bi-weekly. So every other week we have another session coming up, and I don't want to spoil it, but I think the next session is going to be on listing presentations, and we're going to give you a copy that you can have. So thanks for being with us. If you have any questions, you can email me directly, but I'm going to stop the recording right now, okay? Awesome. So the question is, if you paid, you get to hear the rest. You won't be able to hear the private conversation. This is just an office meeting that I happen to do this webinar with you guys. So I actually did the presentation that was for you guys. That part's done, and you're going to get it recorded. Okay, thank you. Bye. Hey, if you want to close more real estate transactions, get more buyer leads, and get more seller leads, click this button right here. It'll take you to our real estate group coaching page. Also, if you like this video and want more, you can subscribe by pressing this, or you can check out some of my past videos here. Enjoy!